What's up, guys? Welcome back to 20,000 Films. I'm DJ, and today, this wonderful Saturday that we're recording this, we are going to be reviewing Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. And I can honestly say nothing. So, grab your nearest blade. Um, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Grab your nearest robot that has a flower crown, and stay tuned.
My feet will fail and naked. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Devin Stanford, aka Brevin the Dude, and this is episode 11 of 20,000 Films. It is April 20th, 2024, and I am joined by two of the Brethren Court, and that would be Twitch's very own DJ Sinfix. How you doing, buddy?
What up, my man? What up? What up? What up? What's up, big dog?
Dude, the producer in the chair, the guy, the one with the skills. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, dude. I woke up. The We're switching to a new insurance, so an insurance agent came by to inspect everything. So I woke up earlier than intended. So, because they're just walking around the house and like fucking checking all the bathrooms and shit, and like checking the roof, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just be up. I'll just stay up. But yeah, no, it's a cool morning, a cool morning.
Yeah, is it a little colder there than it usually is?
It's 80 degrees right now, but like
Oh, it is.
usually by this time it would have been like scorching, but like it's still hot. It's gonna be cold tomorrow though. Like tomorrow, high of 68. Like Sunday through Tuesday, it's gonna be like fairly cool.
I'm gonna double check the weather here. Okay. This is so weird. I think my weather app is off, but it says it's gonna be a high of 56 today. But then when I look at my phone, it says it's gonna be a high of 70. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on, but that
maybe it's
70
busted.
degrees is definitely going to be welcomed. It's going to be sunny, 70 degrees. I'm going to go take Amos on some walks today. That's
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Get some walkies out, maybe do some talkies. I don't know.
Yeah, do something like that, dude.
Mm-hmm. We're also joined by a shining light in my life, my very own little wonderful cherry blossom, Garrick Bartholomew Eaton. How you doing, brother?
I'm so fucking stuffy, dude. I literally I'm actually sniffling hard enough this morning that my mic is picking it up, which is not great.
Oh no.
I've tried to reposition it a few times, but I can't fucking breathe.
Yeah.
At all.
Have you tried blowing your nose?
Dude, yeah, I actually literally just ran out of tissues, which is fucking sucks. I need to go buy
Damn.
more. Literally just ran out. And I haven't taken my allergy medicine yet this morning. Which is weird because, dude, I mean, I grew up in Oregon, right? And which is a ridiculously green state, far, 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 far greener than the one I currently live in. But my allergies here are I didn't even have allergies in Oregon. I was able to breathe perfectly there. And I moved to Utah, and every fucking April and May, I'm literally dying.
Damn.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the cotton trees, to bloom.
Oh yeah,
Because when the cotton trees bloom,
trees.
I am death. I am a walking death because that nothing affects my allergies more than those trees. I used to have a girlfriend who lived in Gladstone, which I know you know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
and she lived in this apartment complex that was surrounded by nothing but cottonwood trees.
Oh,
Dude,
Nothing.
the springtime,
It was
a wind would blow
terrible.
through, dude, and her parking lot would just have piles of white fucking fuzz
Yep.
everywhere,
It
and
looked
you're
like it
just
snowed.
dying.
Yep. She's like, I'll be like, hey, let's hang out. And I'll be like, yeah, you can come over to my house. Cause I was living up off of Alberta at the time, which is like a super hip area, lots of restaurants, lots of bars, cool parks and stuff like that to go to. She's like, yeah, how about you come over to my house this time? And I'm just like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like, you know that this is gonna make me feel like shit. You know what I mean? I feel like she purposely did it.
Just to make you
Yeah.
suffer.
Yeah, that is my life, suffering.
Get Augustus
Speaking of
suffer with
suffering,
me
this is 20,000 Films Under the Sea, your choice for all the nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you want each and every week. If you like that, suffering, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video services near you. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that's cool with us. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show, just like nobody is right now. No, there's people watching, but they ain't in chat, so we ain't gonna call them out. You know what I'm saying? But I love all of you that are there. If
I mean,
you
not
have
like we
Amazon
normally stream
Prime,
on a Saturday, anyways.
exactly.
used
This
to.
is a bonus episode that is gonna be a numbered episode. It's number 11, and if you have Amazon Prime, tell them, DJ.
What am I supposed to say? Prime Gaming.
Line.
Prime
Line. Can I get a
Gaming.
line?
You also have Twitch Prime, and we would love for you to give that to us to help keep the lights on and cameras rolling. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, hitting subscribe, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea, and we'll be there waiting for you.
Woo.
Ooh, Garrick.
Why?
We got some director's commentary. Same stuff we said yesterday when we did our review of the amazing show Fallout, that we gave it 10 out of 10. That will be live today. If you missed it, go watch that. As of this recording, that episode is live on our YouTube, and we would love for you guys to check that out. It is probably my favorite show of the year, and probably my favorite show in a long time. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. One of my
Like since
favorites.
like I said, like I haven't binged a show like that since Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah. It was fantastic from start to finish. I watched it 2 times through already, and I will watch it a third time. I'm not even joking. I watched my first watch through took me about 3 days to finish it, right? My second watch through, I did it in 1 day.
Oh, yep. I believe that.
Yeah. Guys, be sure to rate us, leave your feedback so we can rise through the algorithm. That's right. We cannot get up there unless you engage with us. That means commenting on our YouTube videos. That means subscribing to us. If you're one of those people who just scour YouTube and look us up and watch videos, but don't subscribe or follow us, I'm going to say it right now. You piece of shit. I still love you. But you got to go onto our podcast platforms. We are an audio-based podcast. That's where most of our listener base comes from. We need you guys. We look, being part of the Fish family means that you also have to do your part. And by doing your part, that means joining us in Helldivers 2 by joining our Discord so you can manage democracy and spread freedom across the galaxy against the Terminids and the automaton scum. I didn't write that. That was just on a whim. So subscriber exclusive content is going to be starting at the beginning of May. We have just over a week and a half until that hits. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're in our Discord so you can get all the news around that. And if you are subscribed, listening, and not part of our Discord, what are you doing? You got to join our Discord to get all these bennies. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to provide. And that also means we're getting merch. We are getting merch. We have a bunch of designs, a bunch of designs that we have all curated for you guys. Ernell and Xander worked really hard, and they got some really cool stuff. We're currently just waiting for some physical things to roll through so we can show you guys what it looks like. So, with that being said, join our Discord if you want access to all of these cool little goodies.
Yes, sir.
DJ,
Yes, sir.
can you tell them what we're going to next, which they probably didn't even really reach this point when developing this movie, but can you tell them what they should have done?
Well, honestly, I mean, in a typical film, you get a lot of takes, you get a lot of scenes. There's plenty of different cuts, but we're looking for the final cut.
Final cut.
Shing, shing, yeah.
Which we didn't get today. That's coming in August.
Yeah.
Wait, it's coming that soon?
Jeez.
Guys, we are reviewing Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. And I didn't get the synopsis of this. I still have the Fallout.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna change that.
Don't worry. We got this.
Quick Google search.
Quick intermediate, intermission right now. So
Elevator music.
Nice weather we're having. You guys come around here
No,
often?
it's garbage weather. I can't breathe, DJ.
I don't know. It sounds like a skill issue. I don't know, dude.
Dude, it is a skill issue.
Get better weather.
Synopsis. It's literally one sentence. I don't like that.
Well, it might be. I used the Rotten
It might
Tomatoes
just
one.
be. It might.
I got it. We're gonna use the Wikipedia one, guys. Rebel Moon Part 2 is the direct sequel to Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. The film takes place on the moon of Velt, where Korra and the crew of warriors ventures to help the farmers to defend and fight for their home against the Mother World. I feel like I'm snoozing already. This was released April 12th, 2024. No, that was not. That was released. Yeah, it was actually. That's what it says on there. Has this really been out for a week already and we slept on it like that?
What do you mean?
No,
slept
it came
on
out yesterday.
bro?
Okay.
It came out
April
literally came out
19th.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, this came out April 19th, not 12th. Shows you how much I really care about this movie. This was created by Zack Snyder, Kurt Johnson, and Shay Hatton, and directed by Zack Snyder, which is very apparent throughout the movie. Music is by Junkie XL. Yeah, the music was okay. It was
Really there.
It was just it was hollow. It was there, Budget of 166 million. Ugh. And the box office went straight to Netflix. Runtime 2 hours and 2 minutes. And if you ask me, 2 hours and 2 minutes too long.
This is
You guys want some fun facts?
$13 million more than the Fallout series.
I know. It's
Wait, was it
amazing that we
really?
get the Fallout series and Dune Part 2 in the same year as this.
It was the Fallout series was 153 million, and that was like the highest for Prime Video, and this is 166 million.
What was that? I'm curious. The Dune Part 2 budget was 190 million.
So yeah, this is like
Just
very close.
it's a few million more, but
like 80% of Dune Part 2's budget.
Yeah. All right. So we have some fun facts. I'm going to be honest with you listeners. I scoured the internet looking for facts, and it was very, very hard to find anything about this movie. And if you are an audio listener and you've been listening to us or watching us live on Twitch, you'll know that I have brought this up many a times. I did not see any promotion for this film anywhere, which seeing that this had a budget for 166 million, that's pretty disappointing.
I don't really know. I can't. Did I see anything for this movie?
There wasn't
I'm
even
like
like a
watched this
notable
movie-
media tour. Like nothing.
Yeah, like I'm maybe I saw a trailer. Maybe I saw a trailer somewhere.
I saw
but
one
I honestly
trailer.
can't.
I saw one.
I can't
trailer.
even guarantee. I can't even like guarantee that that's not like a false memory. I don't have any like strong recollection of like a marketing campaign.
Yeah. which is really disappointing considering the budget of this movie, because usually a good 20% of a budget goes into a marketing campaign. Honestly, that's usually what happens. You know, videos, trailers, tours, pay, because the actors have to get paid for their time, right? Um, in an exclusive interview with Fandom Wire's Elliot Franklin, director Zack Snyder shared his major inspiration for creating Rebel Moon. As a lover of science fiction, it's evident that he looked into Heavy Metal magazine as his source of ideas. So I didn't get any of that, honestly, out of this movie. Did you guys see any like heavy metal inspiration in this? Like there wasn't even any hint of heavy metalness in the score that I could recollect. What about you guys?
No.
Dude,
Yeah,
what is he talking about?
Yeah, what the
exactly.
fuck?
Exactly.
What
That's
is he
why I put this
talking
in here,
about?
because I was just like, what?
Like what aspect of the film was inspired by Heavy Metal magazine?
I don't know.
Like he doesn't say?
Jimmy? I don't know. It doesn't.
Jimmy's
I
my
read
favorite
the article.
character. It might have been Jimmy.
I mean, yeah, Jimmy is the best character. Like Jimmy, James,
bar none.
Jimmy, James, Jimmy. You know, I mean, but continuing on, EW has an exclusive sneak peek at the sequel featuring two of Korra's comrades, the gladiator General Titus, Jimon Hansu, and the noble warrior Tarek, Stas Nair, in throes of battle. Although he won't get specific on timing, Snyder says that a huge portion of the Scargiver is the battle on Velt. Given Rebel Moon's
You mean all of
conscious evocation of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, fans should expect a
No.
climax on par with that Japanese classic massive village battle, albeit on a sci-fi scale. How does that make you feel, DJ?
What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
That's why I put this
No.
one in here.
What
No,
is he talking
Seven
about?
Samurai is like a cinematic fucking class. What the
That was
hell?
like a silver lion,
Yeah,
dude.
that's why I put this in here.
What is he talking about?
I'm starting to feel like Zack Snyder. I'm gonna say this right now. I am not trying to attack this man mentally in any way or attack him. I just want to know what the fuck, dude. Like, I feel like you're just spewing shit out your ass and saying things that you wish this film was or thought it could be, but it doesn't show any, like, there's no like physical media evidence of this even being related to that. You know.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
no.
What's the next fact?
And for all you listeners out there, if you do plan on watching these movies at all, if you have not watched these movies, Snyder is planning on releasing R-rated director's cuts of each film. Though release dates have not been yet announced, but the director also sees his new sci-fi universe as a, quote, a bottomless pit of stories. That's one reason that he cast 36-year-old Fee in the role of the galaxy's tyrannical ruler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
It's a bottomless pit of something.
I'm obviously going to go last here today. Garrick, I know you have a lot to say. So DJ, I want to start with you here first. What's your impressions of this movie, and how do you feel about him trying to say that this is Kurosawa's Seven Samurai on a sci-fi scale? How does that make you feel?
Dude, honestly, dog, I there's not a lot to say, but there's also so much to say at the same time. In terms of this film, I can barely tell you what happens in it. And I can at the same time. Like I said, this takes place. If I assume all of our listeners and viewers have watched the first one. If you're watching this review, and if not, just follow along with me here. Bear with us. This takes place on a farming colony, reminiscent of like an Amish type situation. on a moon that the main character hailed from for a time, right? Um, and basically it's defending. It's like it's farmers versus the fucking galactic empire, basically. And that's like
Space
the whole
Nazis. They're
setup for the
literally
film, and
space Nazis.
that's 2 hours of that. Um, it's basically an hour and a half of setup, a 3 farming montages, uh, 1 training montage, some background for the main cast of characters that we got introduced to already in the first movie, but now we're getting more fleshed out flashbacks for them and more motivations um, in this film. And it, I just don't understand. Me personally, I think this is better than the first film. Um, it's not the way it's shot. It's not nauseating like the first film was. I don't know if it's just because of the depth of field effect that Zack Snyder was playing with in the first film. There's still some of it in this film. Um, it's just, I guess it's less confusing to look at because there was a lot of choices that he chose cinematic wise in the first film, like these certain cuts and these specific shots that he wanted. It's less of that in this film. There's a lot more action in this film, thank God. But um, it's just like spurred into the film, and um, I just don't care. Like I don't get how you can compare this to Seven Samurai or any of Akira Kurosawa's work, because at least Akira Kurosawa's writing made you care about these characters. I can speak for all of us that we don't give a fuck about what any of these characters are going through. Like, the only one I really felt something for was probably Titus. And
Yeah.
and but it took us, if we combine the two films, since there's a part 1 and part 2, it takes us literally 3 hours. Literally 3 hours to get to that point. Imagine watching these two back to back. That's 4 hours of movie. It takes literally more than halfway to get to the point where we start caring about these characters. And it's I think this movie shows me, and I tried to give this the benefit of the doubt. I tried to be like, okay, all right, Snyder, what do you got up your sleeve? Maybe the first one was, just quinky dink, just straight booty for, whatever reason. But this one, I feel like should have been the first film. This should have been part 1, because the way part 1 was laid out, it's like, oh, we're going here and meeting this person. Oh, we're going here and meeting this person, and not really fleshing out these characters to care about them. When in this film, it's like, oh, we're all together now, all in the same place. Let's all share a campfire story about how we got here in the first place. And it was okay. It was bearable, watchable, and still confusing, but like it it's better than the first one if we compare the two, part 1 and part 2. But I just don't get it. I don't get how this costs more to make than the Fallout series that we got literally, the same month. Um and that was infinitely better than this film. And to address the people who defend Zack Snyder as a director, and I'm not attacking his character, like him as a person at all. I'm just critiquing his work. I just don't understand how Zack Snyder is the only director that has this problem. Why is he the only director that, you know, everyone clamors to find an excuse for. Oh, it's Netflix's fault. They want more director's cuts. They want R-rated cuts. That's why they bought Zack Snyder. But Zack Snyder equally signed that contract. And I just don't understand how this only applies to him. If Quentin Tarantino had a director's cut, if a Tarantino cut, if there was a fucking Christopher Nolan cut, if there was some and then I would understand. Like if it was happening to more people, more directors, I would have been like, okay, maybe it's like an executive decision in these offices, And I understand that does happen in the production space, but why does it only happen to Zach, and why does he get a pass when all these other directors are just like fine with sending out whatever film that they make? Devin.
I was gonna say, you know who has the best director's cut? Peter Jackson.
What does he direct?
Goddamn.
Yeah, the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies.
I still haven't seen it. Still havenn't seen Lord
Honestly,
of the
Rings. Honestly, I'm not even. I don't have the emotional capacity to acknowledge that statement today.
Honestly, DJ, so. I own all those movies. I would watch them with you. I would.
I
really cool.
need time I literally need to dedicate like a day or two to like actually watch.
Oh, dude! Each extended edition is 4 hours.
40 hours.
Yeah, see, like that's an event. Like I have to like really hunker down for.
Yeah, but do you know there's like an official Lord of the Rings day, like an actual holiday where people just watch those movies all day? My cousin, she hosts a Lord of the Rings party at her house, actually. And they throw every extended. They start at like 9 a.m. They watch every single extended edition movie. It's about 12 hours, just like 11 to 12 hours. And they make food from the movies and everything too. It's really cool. Sick. It's really fucking sick. Yeah. But anyways, continue on. Sorry. That's a more interesting conversation than this movie.
Yeah. Well, like that's what we're saying. Like I think all of us here don't want to see bad movies. None of us here want to see directors and people behind movies fail. But as we're not official reviewers, but we want to give reviews to you guys and to suggest like whether you should watch this shit or not. Like I'm just baffled. I'm befuddled. I am bamboozled, led astray, run amok, right? All the flabbergasted. Yeah. Like I'm just so confused at what Zack Snyder is trying to do. Like clearly he has a vision for something. I just can't see it. I don't see that with him. I don't think anyone else shares this vision except for him. Like this was supposed to be Star Wars. This plot line is supposed to be Star Wars, and it was supposed to extend the Star Wars universe. And now we have a very cheap imitation of Star Wars that fails to make us care in any capacity. I just don't, and I tried. I literally was watching this movie. I even rewatched part 1 and then into part 2. I still can't understand. Yeah, I still can't understand.
My God,
what I'm supposed to care about. Like I like visually it looks good. It's just some choices that he makes. Like especially, I saw an interview. He did like a Wired interview. Like the autofill shit. Or no, he didn't do that. He read out like tweets. Right? Literally the first tweet in the interview was like, why does Rebel Moon use so much slow-mo? That was the first tweet he read.
Sounds
and
like
those shows on YouTube, like they curate those tweets to like, they don't give him like the bad tweets or anything. So literally the first one they give him is like, and that's the only tweet about Rebel Moon that in that entire interview, by the way, for Zack Snyder. It was, why does Rebel Moon has so much slow-mo? And he literally says, I don't want people to miss the action. I think all the action should be on camera. It should be, and it's very cinematic. That's
There's no
why he
action
uses
if it's a
slow-mo.
fucking snooze fest of a fucking slow motion frame.
Yeah, but yeah, that wraps up my thoughts.
Garrick's trying to be quiet.
That wraps up my thoughts. I wanna release the beast. I want to release the beast.
Yeah. Garrick, fucking cut the rope, drop the hammer. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Zach, why? Why? Okay, why? Who is this movie for? Movies generally have an audience that they target, and I don't see who this film services at all, except for that weird little cult of individuals that just insists on defending you no matter what you produce. And that's exactly what this film feels like. 256 minutes. 256 minutes of my life I've wasted on this franchise in the last 48 hours. And I, like DJ, I back-to-backed it. Like, I literally watched the first one. We did a review for Fallout, and then I watched the second one. And honestly, thank God for the review period in between, because it gave me a breather. And I think I will agree with DJ that like this does have more going on with it, and that probably does make it a little bit better of a movie, because there's some more action in it. But like the second film has a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes, and it took an hour and 15 minutes for literally anything to happen in this movie. Anything at all. Any fucking thing at all. You get you get 3 montages that involve farming for some fucking reason. And like I understand, like that's the only Kurosawa, like literally them trying to make the grain quota is the only thing about Seven Samurai in that entire fucking movie. Like if that was I'll punch you right through this fucking goddamn screen, Zach, if that's your influence. If that's it, I swear to God, I will reach through the WWW and punch you in the nose. I fucking hated this film. I hated this shit. It doesn't service anybody. The dialogue is literally 90% exposition. We are told everything and shown nothing. Oh, literally, you want to know what? This movie could be 30 fucking minutes shorter if he would cut the goddamn slow-mo and just let the action scenes play out like they want. But apparently, he doesn't trust his fucking audience enough to watch the movie with any attentiveness, that he has to stretch it out so much that we're forced to observe every goddamn brutally boring fucking frame that you are calling this movie. What the shit? The dialogue is vapid. The plot is so fucking thin, you can punch a hole through it. It's insane to me that this got made. And I already know that Zach can't write. It's been established. But there's 2 other co-writers on this film that agreed with all of these fucking ideas. And they have the concept that there's at least 4 more films to be told. 4 more stories from what? From what? There's nothing here. There's no well of bottomless stories. There's nothing on offer. I could literally list so many other sci-fi projects that are decades older than this film IP that would be more entertaining to a newer generation of audience than this piece of shit is.
Tell him, Garrett.
Okay. I'm just going off of the writing thing. This is actually really disappointing. So I looked up Shay Hatton to see what they have credits on as a writer.
Yeah.
And what they're known for, Army of the Dead. Not fucking surprised. I hated that movie too. I hated that.
Well, dude,
but let me continue on here. They did Army of Thieves, which is actually a really enjoyable movie. That's actually a Zack Snyder film that I enjoyed. That one was actually good. It was funny.
See, and I haven't watched either of those, but like I actually genuinely like Man of Steel. I also fucking love 300.
And Shay Hatton was a writer on the John Wick series as well.
What?
All of the movies.
The fuck? That's not true. That can't possibly be true. That can't be real. That can't be a real credit.
He wrote John Wick Chapter 4. and he did the screenplay for chapter 3.
Okay, so that means there was at least 2 other. So were you guys just afraid to tell him his ideas were fucking bad?
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. The other writer, Kurt Johnston, wrote 300 and
I fucking love
also
that movie.
wrote the movie Act of Valor. And they also did Atomic Blonde.
See, and that's a great action film too. Atomic Blonde's really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, what a disappointment! Like, I didn't even know that they had credits like that, and like that makes it that just makes this even more of an affront to cinema. Like, this really is like it's just a bastardization of so much that people really enjoy. Right? Like, it takes all of the fun things that Guy Ritchie likes to do in his films that make his shit enjoyable. It takes all of the fun plots from Star Wars and waters them down to this literally nothing. It's just nothing. There's nothing going on in this movie. The plot is garbage. The characters are uninspired and honestly downright stereotypical and racist. Why do the soundtracks have weirdly stereotypical like tonal shifts when they pan to certain characters? What the fuck was up with that?
They did that
What was up with that? It felt none of it felt natural or good. I will like literally like when every time it panned to Nemesis, I was just like, y'all don't have to do that. Y'all don't have to do that. Why are you doing that? Why are you playing the sitar in the background every time she's on? That's fucking off. Like, that shit doesn't feel, and it like in it like, anybody who's gonna come at me and trying to tell me they're representing multiple like cultures in this film, it's done so piss poor that it literally feels ham-fisted beyond belief.
I was looking up casting for this movie earlier, and an interesting thing I noticed is almost everybody listed for the casting has the name of the character next to them. Bae Doona does not have Nemesis listed next to her character either. And because of events that happened in this movie, I think they didn't want to be a part of this franchise anymore. I think that they wanted out, and I think what happens to their character in this movie is because of them not wanting to be affiliated with this anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing to love here, guys. Like, even with the admittedly cool action sequence that like takes place, I want to say like just 15 minutes before it's like a 5 to 10 minute ish segment, and it's like just before the final 15 minutes of the film. That's the most visually striking, fun part of the movie, and honestly, it's over so quickly, and like it leaves.
Are you talking about the Dreadnought scene?
Yeah, the Dreadnought scene.
I will agree that
the Dreadnought scene was the only thing that was cool. It was literally the only thing that was cool about it. Like, it was the only thing that I enjoyed. I liked the way that sequence played out. Like, guys, I don't hate Zack Snyder, but I don't I'm with DJ. I don't understand how he gets a pass. I don't understand how people are still funding his films at this point when he has the critical track record that he does. There have been better directors that have had less flops, that have been pushed out of Hollywood sooner than this dude has. And I don't understand what about him allows him to just stick around. He's like a fungus. We can't get rid of him.
2 notable directors that have a great track record who have literally been tossed around in Hollywood because of like a movie getting a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Rian Johnson and Steven Spielberg, actually, of all people, too.
Oh, dude, yeah, look at J.J. Abrams. He had one bad movie, and he hasn't done. He's doing TV shit now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Zack Snyder gets a pass because, he's
like, I don't understand how he's immune to critical response. He is. This fucking film is sitting at a 30. His previous film sat at a fucking 50. The Justice League cut was like what? That shit was like a 50. The Superman, Batman versus Superman's like a fucking that's like a 45. Like, these are bad movies. and I don't get why I don't get why he gets the pass. There's just nothing here for anybody. Like this is a Zack Snyder movie made for. I feel like he legit made this shit for himself.
You know,
Like, and nobody else. I feel like this is you just like, I need to make this film for me, and I don't give a fuck if nobody wants to make it because I'm mad that Disney said no to what I thought was a good fucking idea.
You know what Zack Snyder reminds me of? Like somebody doing all these terrible things, right? And this is his fan base. This is his fan base to a T. In the cinema world, Zack Snyder does terrible movies, right? But then there's his fan base that's sitting there. They're like, but he's a nice guy.
Like, I don't care, dude.
I don't
Make a
care.
good movie.
You can be the greatest guy in the world.
like
You
the
can be the
equivalent
greatest
of
guy
what's
in the world.
happening
But
here.
if you're not making a good product, you're not making a good product, right?
You can-
we
you
look
can,
at video
like,
games the
you
same
can
way.
save
I don't
orphanages
give a
on the
fuck how
weekend.
nice
I
the
wouldn't give a
developers
fuck.
are. Yeah, man, like literally don't care. Like he could be spending like millions of dollars to help like orphan fucking guinea pigs every year, and like I wouldn't give a shit, man, because he's not making good movies. And as an individual who makes content around watching and reviewing films, including sometimes bad ones, I fucking owe The Last Voyage of the Demeter a goddamn apology.
Yeah, dude, that was way better than that. That was way better. Way
I
better.
still
than
haven't
this.
watched that. Good morning,
Dude, I was
Espo.
legit. I just every time I was like watching, I was just like, nobody talks like this. Like this shit doesn't feel organic, and none of this, and like everybody's performance except for General Titus literally feels like they just showed up for a goddamn paycheck.
I bet they did, dude. The fucking dude. I was telling Devin earlier, um, you know, so like I bet the most of the media tour budget was like for the first part of the film, but there's like a second part, and like this, there's you know how like they have the actors next to like the fucking backdrop of the film on the wall and like their answer cards. Literally, the only interview we could find, like before we watched it last night, me and my friends looked it up. It's literally for a like YouTube channel that has like 30,000 subscribers and like only like 3 videos over 1,000 views. Like, like these
No marketing.
big name actors are doing a media tour with a like YouTube channel that like has 30,000 views, just chilling. And I think that their interview was only like 500 views. Like that's crazy.
That's literally
That is
insane to me.
incredible. Like for how high profile this movie is supposed to be, it's just like, man, I just like no hate onto that YouTube channel. I'm just saying like comparatively, like a media tour for like,
but right, like when you're talking about a media tour for what is like supposed to be marketed as a blockbuster film,
yeah,
right?
like even the
And, like,
Fallout
it's not
series,
getting-
they're like having like little like red carpet stuff and like rolling out like you know they're doing big interviews
they did,
with like
their own
IGN,
premiere, yeah, and it was like a big huge thing. They had like an after party that like literally saw like I saw clips about that shit for days after
Yeah.
it was like after it was done being like hosted, and like I saw nothing about this film. Yeah, I like my rant's gonna come to an end because like obviously like I hated this fucking movie. I really hated it. Like the Dreadnought scene will earn it 1 point for me because it was legit cool, but like everything else about this movie, it was just like the plot didn't make sense, the timelines didn't make sense. There's no way they did that shit in 3 days. I'm sorry, they didn't do it. They didn't do that shit in 3 days. There's no fucking way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan, what do you got, brother?
I notoriously dislike Zack Snyder films. I think Batman versus Superman was better than the Justice League cut, personally, and I feel like that
Agree.
that you would agree with me on that. Albeit the Batman versus Superman had a lot of flaws to it. Martha. But you know, I actually saw an article recently where Zack Snyder was confused and surprised and weirded out by the context of everybody memeing that whole thing, the Martha plot line and stuff like that.
Oh.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Before
DJ.
before you get into it, I remember speaking to of Garrick saying, and you Devin saying, like, there's just this cult of Zack Snyder fucking glazers, dude, fucking has Zack Snyder's meat in their mouth like 24/7. Remember, Garrick, you weren't here for our first review, but there was literally someone that came into our chat and defending Zack Snyder for their life, and then like
Yep.
linking. I forgot. I think it's like a what article was it? It was like a
It was
New
a
York
Forbes
Times
article. It was a Forbes article.
Forbes article saying like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Netflix's fault. You know, it's they wanted money. We looked at that article, and guess what? It's written by a contributor, literally labeled contributor. So that means it's someone who pays the Forbes, who pays Forbes to write for them. Like they pay their money
Yeah.
because they give out so much money they can make an opinion piece and it's featured on their website. Like not an actual writer, not an actual journalist, but a contributor. And we pointed that out, and they left after that.
Well, dude, and he's
remember-
gone
I
on
remember
record
calling-
in his own interviews saying that he wanted to do a rated R cut.
Yeah,
Yes.
I called him out, and I was like, why do you have to make bad movies to do a cut just to like try and make more money, even if it's bad? So let's touch on this right now. You want to do a rated R cut of these movies, then why the fuck are you putting out these PG-13 pieces of shit where people are using bladed weapons? You're trying to call this a fucking war movie, and the only blood you see in the fucking movie is on a shirt of the main character with no physical wounds in sight. There's not even a scratch on her body. Like, you have a character, Tarek, using hatchets as in a sci-fi movie. You have a Native American wearing a cloak and no t-shirt using hatchets, and he's hitting people, and there's no blood, there's no wounds, there's nothing. And you're trying to call this a fucking war movie? Like, Garrick, please.
Dude, there was one scene that stood out really bad to me with the PG-13, like, and you can tell like they cut this literally just to add it into the rated R one later. There is a scene in the film where a character gets their throat slit, like literally gets their throat slit, and then it cuts to that character, and it's clean. I swear to God, no wound, no nothing. And I was just like, that wasn't a real edit. You guys really censored that shit for later. Unfucking believable.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, and a character, that same character falling from an abnormal height and nothing happening to their body.
Literally, yeah.
Rocks. Literally,
people
hit
being in
rocks.
the front lines, getting like missed by bullets by nothing but plot armor, dude.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about the blatant IP and creative design steal from Destiny in
With
this
the
movie?
mech.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
tank.
That's I
That-
was
yeah,
literally
that
like,
was
I
a
was like, that's a
Destiny
fallen
ripoff.
walker, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, like they didn't even hide it. It was like the exact same color, the exact same amount of legs, like the same setup, everything. It was the only thing that was different is that the plasma laser bullets or whatever it shot were red instead of blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I saw
it's-
that shit and I was just like,
And
what
dude,
the fuck
I
is
saw that immediately, and I was like, oh, Bungie's coming after you. You know, like like there's so many other things that you could have done to make that a bit more believable, you know. I dude, literally with Zack Snyder saying that this was inspired off of Kurosawa, he's pretty much just copying George Lucas. At least in George Lucas's work, you can see that reflective within the movies, especially the original trilogy, you know.
Yeah, because the political commentary that requires a Kurosawa film to be a Kurosawa film was present.
Yep, and the hero's journey, you know, of
Yeah.
just barely making it, right? But also still suffering in the same ways. Uh, but dude, the writing is so flat, and it's really disappointing to see people like Shay Hatton, for example, who was the screenplay writer for John Wick Chapter 3 and the head writer of Chapter 4, which is one of my favorite action movies. It really is.
Literally. one of my favorite action
Like
movies ever.
it's in top 10 action movies of all time, like straight up. Uh, and it's just disappointing to see, Jimon Hansu like be in this movie because he's actually a fantastic actor. He has had so many roles, and
Great
he's a
character
great,
actor.
yeah, and he emotes very well. And I like, why do you introduce a character in part one? Say that they're the greatest swordsman in the galaxy. Say that they are feared. They're a bounty hunter. Blah 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 blah. All this shit. And like, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not at the end of my conversation. We're not at the rating part. I'm just gonna say this. Do not watch this movie. And I'm gonna say this right now. I know I got on you, DJ, but this character dies, right? And
Yeah.
they th- their fight that they put up in this scene is just so unbelievable for the character setup that they provide for this character. It is
Especially
for
given the scene they had in the first movie.
Yeah.
yeah, it is
Stupid.
it is ridiculous. Like I I'm sure that that was written because that actress did not want to have any part in this trilogy or whatever the fuck they're gonna do. I hope this shit gets canceled, honestly. That's where I'm sitting at, honestly.
We
I'm gonna
better go
say
to
that right
Tubi or
now.
some shit, dude.
Yeah.
Netflix not
Like,
backing this shit.
no, dude, this shit's gonna go to God, what's that? What was Crackle? This is a Crackle ass
Oh my
movie.
god.
um Crackle's owned by Sony, albeit Sony's movies have been really terrible too. I'll be the first to say that.
I
Um
thought Sony would pick this up right away, dude. Fuck.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
felt
this
like
is
a Sony movie.
honestly, this movie is on par with Sony's writing staff. It really is. I'll be the first to say it. I don't care. Shots fired. Sony, your cinema writing staff sucks. Um, i.e. Madam Web, i.e. Uncharted, like just to name a couple. Um, Columbia Pictures, figure it the fuck out. Um, but like, I'm no official, reviewer at any capacity, but the dialogue is lazy in this movie. The writing is lazy. Who watches a sci-fi movie and goes, I want to watch this on a moon on a boring ass farm where the houses have hay for the fucking roof? You
Why
know
are
what
they
I
all
mean?
white
Like
people?
the setting of this
There's
movie is
nothing alien
awful.
about it at all.
Yeah,
They're
it's
all
it's
white
an
people. Like
awful
it's dude,
setting.
you could literally say this is like an Amish colony. Like
Yeah, it's such a bad setting, and it's like, how is it supposed to be believable that this small little village can fight the might of this mother world empire? Like there's no nothing
why is the battle
there's no
just
like
on this one farm on this huge moon?
yeah, like there's not
Oh,
even a
Oh,
go ahead,
Garrett.
Garrick.
okay. Look, you want to know what you guys need to hold on. I'm gonna give you exactly what you need to do. You instead of watching this fucking movie, you just need to go watch that like 2 episode arc of The Mandalorian where they defend that swamp farm, the shrimp farm.
Yeah.
That is a million fucking. That's literally the same goddamn plot, the same fucking plot as this movie, and it is so much better.
It is. It
Just
is.
rewatch The
I can.
Mandalorian.
I've watched
Yeah.
that a couple times.
Like that
Honestly,
fucking that
like,
little that I remember that little farm arc, and I was just like, oh my god, that's literally the same fucking
yeah,
thing as this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, and there's nothing believable about this because all these characters that they acquire in the first movie, which the first movie does no justice in the climax for how badass all these characters are supposed to be in the first place. Besides, Jamon Hansu yelling a lot. um, but like there's no like there's no Jedi, there's no force powers, there's no like magic users, there's nobody that brings anything to the table to make this believable that they can defend against this village. There's not even a scene where any of these characters bring out any like wits. Like there's no like specialized tactician scene where they go over how they're going to defend, how they're going to set up everything or anything like that. It's really really lazy. And also with the main antagonist in the film, he comes out of his Bacta tank, right? The quote unquote Bacta tank, which if for anybody who has not seen Star Wars, the Bacta tanks are the medical, like, um, submerged tanks that people go into when they're wounded to heal. Um, he comes out of his Bacta tank, and when he's being evaluated by what would be their doctor, they say that they need to run, a mental and physical analysis to make sure that they're good. And all of a sudden, he has super strength, right? He has super strength out of
Yeah, he
nowhere.
did not have that in the first.
Yeah,
That's not
like
explained.
and not explained. Which reminds me of why I hate Army of the Dead, is because when the zombies were getting shot in the head, all of a sudden there was like electricity going everywhere, but it was never explained. No context, nothing, which I fucking hate that. Um, and Zack Snyder is a proponent of doing that in his films as of late, and it's dumb. It's terrible. It's bad writing. It's bad writing because that physical attribute that he had was not present in the rest of the film at all, at all. Like not one bit. Like if he was that strong, then like when he's fighting the main character Korra, why is that not present at all in that scene? You know, like it
Yeah,
makes no sense. Like
dude,
if
just like
he's
the
that
first
strong,
film, it's
if
continuity.
he's holding somebody by the neck, then he should just be able to snap it, like, you know, just done. But like, does
Or
yeah,
He has
never
the
mind the
trench
fact
scene. Remember the
that
trench
like there's
scene?
the trench scene pissed me off. That's why I was just like, there's no way they did this shit in 3 days. I was like, it's literally not possible. Like they're fucking
Mhm.
farmers, people. Like, and like I understand the underdog story, but like there's no contextual evidence given to you in the movie that shows at all that the warriors, hero characters that showed up into this village have the knowledge and the know-how and the experience, and let alone the fucking resources to make this happen in 3 days. You just get like, oh, this is what we're gonna do, and then a montage of them doing it.
No,
Yeah.
Garrick. You mistake yourself. They took 3 days to farm the crops. They had 2 days left to prepare for the fucking invasion. So technically,
Oh,
it's even
yeah.
less.
Fuck me, right? Yeah, that even makes it make less sense.
Also, I want to say this. How come these blaster assault rifles can shoot through the doors, like the barricades on the doors, but not shoot through the tables that are thinner pieces of wood that the people are hiding
Yeah,
behind?
they're just wood. No, this whole colony could be wiped out by one bomb, and it doesn't even have to be a big one.
Yeah,
It's like 50. It's 50 white people in one. Even less in one village. And this whole they bring a fucking huge ass ship for this one farm, which still makes no sense.
Right? It's such overkill, dude. And like, okay, one of the other things that really bothered me was like, so she is given her nickname, her moniker, the Scargiver, in the first film, but they don't fucking tell you why.
Mhm.
And then they kind of sort of tell you why, and then they like reestablish a new reason for her to have it in this film. Why? Why can a healing apparatus that can repair a comatose brain that's been dead for several fucking hours not heal a superficial skin wound? Why? Why?
This movie should
Why?
have just been called The Battle of Velt.
Battle Vel.
Am I
Dude,
wrong? Am I wrong? Would
and
that
the
have been a
audacity to set up
better,
for a
like,
third film too, which is like I have to
yeah,
find her. Like who the fuck? Like,
you could have cut this film and the first film and put it together, made it rated R, and it would have been a better movie.
It would have been
It
more.
would
It
have
would have
been.
God,
been
yes,
serviceable at that point.
yes.
Yeah. Yes, because the climax of part 1 should have been like the mid arc of the first movie, right? And then
Hmm.
the climax of this movie should have just been the climax of the last of the first movie, because you could have done the first act of the exposition and gathering the characters, then you could have done that battle, and then you like it would have been more believable to have a 2.5 hour long movie be like that. And although it wouldn't be that great of a movie still because of Zack
A little
Snyder's
more
writing,
bearable.
um,
Right,
you
but
know,
the plot would legit
but
make more sense if you put it
it
together in
would,
that order.
Yeah, like a 2.5 hour to 3 hour movie would have made way more sense. And the fact that like Netflix is backing this and it's happening when they have things like Stranger Things or the more recent Avatar Last Airbender live action, although it
Live
had its
action One
problems,
Piece.
it was just way better. Live action One Piece, way better. They even did Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. Fantastic movie. Fucking very long movie. It's like 4 hours, but the storytelling is fucking great. It's a De Niro film, a mobster De Niro film. You know, it's like why are we being so lazy and letting this stuff live here? Like we're at a day and age where I think it is unforgivable to put out sci-fi or adaptation content, whether it be video game or comic book base at this level, especially with like what we've been getting, you know. Um, and I feel like Zack Snyder needs to get out of his own head when it comes to making these movies, and he needs to start listening to fans and I say fans very lightly and critics alike, and he needs to find out how to adapt some of these criticisms and learn to make some better films. You know, I think he needs to get out of the writing chair because it's not working and he
Mm-mm.
needs to focus on his directing. But dude, fucking stop with the slow-mo. It is probably that is probably one of the worst things I've seen in movie. If there's anything I really hate, it's I hate it when people waste my time, whether it be indirectly or directly, because I view time as valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and all your slow-mo does is add about 20 minutes to your movies that we don't need.
Yeah.
So
So much.
It's
So
too
yeah,
much.
much.
Well, dude.
I feel like we've said our piece here.
Yep.
I don't want to give any more time to this movie. DJ, could you read off Ernell's
Oh
write-in for
yeah,
this movie,
for
please?
sure. So Ernell writes in because he can't be here today. He writes in for Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver review. He says, I don't even know what to really say here, guys. Remember way back when I gave a roaring review of the hit Amazon show Fallout? Well, this is pretty much the opposite of that. Zack Snyder continues to make action scenes that, in theory, should be some of the coolest set pieces we've seen to date. Then he builds a convoluted, lackluster nonsense movie around them while murmuring the words, God, I'm so fucking cool, in his home storyboarding office. So, as if the audience isn't going to openly speak on how absolutely sick they are of his slow motion scenes. This movie is somehow worse than its predecessor in a way that is almost respectable. And I'd respect it more if it didn't feel like it was written off the back of a 12-year-old smashing little action figures together while someone is yelling, Seven Samurai but Star Wars! From the other side of the house. In
Yeah.
parentheses, as if The Mandalorian didn't do it better in one episode of its show.
I didn't read Ernell's review in advance.
That's crazy. It's crazy he hit all the points that we talked about in such a succinct sentence. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. I love Ernell so much.
Me
Anyways,
too.
he ends off with this line. Anyways, this movie will get a very disappointing 3 out of 10 from me. Its costume design is really good, and some of the scenes alone are visually kind of rad, but those aren't enough to make up for how criminal the rest of the movie is. That's his review. 3 out of 10 from Ernell. Wow.
I will say some of the costume design for the antagonistic um you
Really
know
cool. Cool
force
looking.
we're actually pretty cool. The costume designs for the main characters
They
very
had some.
racist.
Yeah, that's true. They had some Dune shit going on when they hit the flashback for the Scargiver, like the motherfuckers playing the violin, like
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
that
whole
that
scene. That
that
shit was
scene
like,
was
oh,
kind of
okay.
cool.
It's
That
kind of
scene was
cool.
kind of
And then it
cool,
got ruined
and
immediately.
the ending scene, the fight scene was kind of cool, but that's it. That's it. Out of 2.5 hours, you got maybe 8 minutes of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
So I guess I'll give my rating. Don't see this. Don't watch this. Like the only context in which you should watch this is to make fun of it. Like with your friends. Like watch it with your friends and like, dare yourselves to if you see something racist, just take a shot. I don't know. If you see something remotely problematic, take a shot. Slow motion scene, take a shot. Have a drinking game behind it. Um but this movie, I don't even know what I gave what did I give the first one? Like a 1?
I have no idea.
I
I
This
think I
deserves a
gave it a 1.
2. If I gave the first one a 1, this is a 2. Uh it's yeah, it's a 2.
Now, Garrick, when you give your rating, I want you to give one number rating as both movies as a whole, since you watched both of these
Yeah,
back to
both,
back for
yeah.
the first time.
Both of them, if I'm like as a
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, do it
Yeah,
together cuz
yeah.
you weren't on the first one, so.
That changes things up a little bit.
Does it though? Does it really?
There's a
Oh,
truly
a tiny bit, a tiny
tiny
bit, a
bit.
tiny bit.
You
Yeah.
gotta average out the score,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, just
I am gonna average
do
that.
separate
So I
ratings.
think no. I'll do it. Well, the first one's a fucking 1, dude. That shit was a goddamn slog fest. I hated it. I'm literally gonna give. By the way, you shouldn't watch this movie. Like, and I would maybe argue don't even watch it. Ironically, because if we keep doing that, they're gonna keep making more. They're gonna think we
no, but
accidentally like it.
but we get more stuff to laugh at. We get more.
That's true.
No,
So I mean,
it's
I don't know.
waste of
Do whatever
time.
the hell you
Netflix
want with
owes
this
me
fucking
money.
movie. I'm not gonna watch this shit ever again. I'm really hoping a third one doesn't get made so that we don't have to review it. But if they make a third one, I'll watch it and I'll review it. But
Yeah.
no, this is like a 2 out of 10, and it's literally only a 2 out of 10 because of the fucking dreadnought scene.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Don't watch this fucking movie unless you are a filmmaker, a young aspiring filmmaker, and you need to watch something on how not to make a
A good
movie.
non-example.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which I'm sure you learned a lot from this, DJ. Um,
Yeah, dude, high budget does not mean better film, okay? More money does
Nope.
not mean better film, okay? That is
Nope.
that is literally the lesson that any filmmaker can take from this. The creator was like what, $20 million or some shit? Like or less,
Right?
you know what I mean?
And such a better sci-fi war film than
Yes.
this.
Oh,
Way
the creator is leagues.
Leagues better.
The creator is not a perfect movie, but this Rebel Moon franchise makes the creator look like a 10 out of 10 film.
Dude, Monkey Man had better world building, and that was like a $20 million movie.
Yeah, and I haven't watched Monkey Man yet. I'm actually excited
You
to
need
watch
to.
that when I get
It
the
was
chance.
really good.
But yeah, do not watch this movie. Do not let Netflix get the numbers for this. Do not let Zack Snyder say that this could be better if it's R rated. If any of his fans try to say that to you, literally respectfully put some flour in your hand and slap them in the face. Anybody who
Figuratively.
tries to defend this. This is a god awful movie, one of the worst franchises I've ever seen. This is worse than Army of the Dead. This is worse than Malignant. I actually do hate Madam Web more than this movie personally.
Me too.
I will give it that. I gave Madam Web a 1 out of 10. I'm going to
Me
give
too.
this a 1.5 out of 10.
Averages out to 2 out of 10.
Stay the fuck away, respectfully. This if I wasn't getting Netflix from my roommate, I would cancel my Netflix subscription.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. So a 2 out of 10 on average, since Ernell gave it a 3.
Yeah, that makes it a 2 out of 10. 2 out
Yep.
of 10.
Yeah.
Awful. Guys, please let us know what you think about our review. In the comments of this video, or go to our Discord and talk there. If you unfortunately have already watched this movie, please make fun of it with us. If there's something we did not know, or excuse me, if you know of any fun facts or anything behind the scenes knowledge, please come and let us know, because I do love shit talk.
And if Zach, if you're watching,
Please.
dude, just give us the whole thing, man. Like, tell us all about the movie. You know,
Yeah,
how'd you make it?
Zach, if you want, like, I'll do a one-on-one sparring match with you over this, like, straight up.
We will interview you right here on the Good Kraken podcast to defend yourself. Like we will.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
will. If you
And
want to give us
I'll
the
let you
time of
say your
day.
piece. I'll let you say your
Yeah.
piece. Guys, this has been 20,000 Films Under the Sea, your choice for all the nerdy pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted each and every week. If you liked what you heard and didn't like what you saw, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and have early access to episodes before they go live on podcast and video service near you. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that's totally cool with us. You can watch us record the show live right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. Arguably a better show than Rebel Moon. You can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, hitting the subscribe button, or by leaving a review on our podcast channel by searching 20,000 Films Under the Sea. And we'll be there waiting for you. But until next time, Zack Snyder, stop. Just stop.
Time to hang it up, buddy. Time to learn Chinese, bro. Like, just retire.